Oh shit! Today, the Destroyer King has finally returned to smash the competition. Just like you smashed my heart up with the beautiful comments and made everything I've done and am going to do even more meaningful and more worth it. So now it's time I share the story and the secrets of my journey with you. Now that the hammer has been reunited with the shades and the hat, you can really become one with your hammer. We just need to remember. My name's Claysthetics, and we're running right into it. And don't forget to like the video. It's the only way YouTube knows I exist. And lighting this off with the biggest and largest amount of compensation you've ever seen in real life and for Lost Ark, we start with the ultimate destroyer raid build, Rage Hammer. And a lot of people keep telling me that they never really get the moves, they don't understand them. So now I'm going to have to show them to you in real life so you can really grasp the perspective of what it's like to be a destroyer. All the gems, runes, and tripods are going to be right there for every skill that I'm going to show you. And we're lighting it off with Heavy Smash. Dreadnought. Jumping Smash. I can't do 40 front flips. It's just, you know what? This is what you get. And that's the best you're going to get. Ignore pain. Now for our off-meta skill, Running Crush. Now we're on to our purple boys. Some of the biggest skills, biggest damage in the entire game. They're all slow, they all charge up, and they all do the biggest damage. And one of the coolest skills, and one of the most iconic that you'll never miss, Seismic Hammer. Now possibly one of the best skills in the entire game, Perfect Swing. And yes, I practiced all the animations just like they do them in the game. Now we're going to rock our Earth Eater Supercharge move for the raid build, not the spin to win. Now our final skill, Full Swing. Now we're going to do the less used of the two ultimates, Big Bang. Now our most used ultimate, and probably one of the coolest moves in the entire game, Terra Break. So now that you've seen all the moves in first person, in real life, you'll have no problem doing them yourself, right? And now I'll break down how to turn this into a top tier class with a good flow to it. And the moves I just showed you make up our ultimate raid build, Rage Hammer. And this is the text guide you're going to need. It has the gems, runes, and tripods you're going to take on all your skills, including the point of getting your crit chance to 100% with all of your buffs that you're going to have, and then dumping the rest into a 50-50 balance of spec and crit. Mega endgame build, you're going to be about 1250 to 1300 crit, then balance after that. Your Vault Set's always going to be death, but you can use some nightmare pieces in the meantime while we catch up to KR. And your best engravings, you can pick any of these 7, try and make a good build with them. Rage Hammer, Supercharge, Master Brawler, Grudge, Barricade, Adrenaline, and Cursed Doll. But if you want to do some off-meta things, you can take like MP efficiency increase, heavy armor, and awakening. But like heavy armor is kind of a meme on this class because you have so much shield. And since I showed the best way to use the moves, there should be no confusion in how you should use them. But just in case, they're going to be linked in the description, so make sure you sub while you're down there, or the hammer's going to get you with our main build, which is a 4x4 blue and purple build that is as lifted as my truck and runs over all the PvE content in Lost Ark. And you have tons of super armors and massive damage burst moves, especially once you have Supercharge. Oh shit! Well, sometimes you lose control when you use Supercharge. And to lose control, you're going to need to know how to get there. You need to do that with your blue moves. They're your combo point generators, and per core, you're going to get more damage, a shield, and gravity gauge based on the amount of spec you have. So you never want to dump without 3 cores. And with the Rage Hammer engraving, you get crit chance and crit damage on top of it. So with Dreadnought, Jumping Smash, Rushing Crush, Power Strike, all giving you 2 combo points, you use any one of those into Heavy Smash and then a purple move for massive damage. And just to show it off on a target dummy, it's going to look a lot like this. You start off with any of your 2-point combo generators and then follow up with a heavy crush. That's going to give you 3 cores to dump into your purple moves. And after you've dumped enough, you can even use your gravity gauge, which is everyone's favorite bonk attack. And if you reactivate it, it lets you do the suck-in thing. And well, it just kind of is the most fun you can have in PvP. But if you're really looking for an actual rotation, you just prioritize the supercharged purple moves over the non-supercharged ones. And as long as you find yourself in a comfortable rotation, you can keep up the sustained damage with this, no problem. But the biggest burst you can do is with taunt and make sure you're head attacking. Ignore Pain forces the boss to face you, but it doesn't work in Legion raids. But Ignore Pain now always gives you 3 cores. And this is just a good habit to get into. You pop your Ignore Pain, it gives you 3 cores. You jump into the Seismic Hammer, hit your spacebar, which animation cancels the Seismic Hammer, and will animation cancel most of the abilities for Destroyer. But then you go into a Dreadnought or a Jumping Smash and a Heavy Strike after that, and then just follow up with any of the Supercharged Burpee Boys, which are Full Swing and Earth Eater, and you're just going to be gaming. And just to reiterate, all of our skills have head attack, so always try and slam whatever you're fighting right in the face. This is my favorite build for Destroyer, and the moves I showed off are the best, but I did talk about a couple different ones earlier, and you can replace Jumping Smash with Power Strike, Power Shoulder, or Running Crush based on your personal preference. I wouldn't replace Dreadnought or Heavy Strike like at all. Dreadnought is your big counter, so I didn't say that earlier, but like Dreadnought is probably one of the best counters in the entire game too. But I did set up different tiers of the build based on your skill points. If you don't have as much as me or you're slacking, which you might be, go watch this video right here. It has every single skill point in the entire game. This is our 301 budget newcomer build. You should be well above 301 at this point. Our 340 mid-range build, which is where I think the majority of players are in the game, and our 378 plus build. And then we have the 420 big PP build, and realistically this one can be done with 410 skill points. But there is another setup, which is like this 5x3 OG build where you could only like really field 3 purple moves, but that was when RNG cores were in the game, where you needed that lucky core skill. Now that's not a thing anymore, so the 5x3 build really isn't as good as it used to be, and I didn't really want to update it because it just makes me nostalgic seeing my OG guide. But now for our Chaos Dungeon build, it slaps and has a ton of AoE. It actually just rips apart Chaos Dungeons. This is the loadout we're going to use for it, and it's actually pretty simple. Not a lot changes. Really, the main thing to look at is just faster animations. You take the instant cast Perfect Swing, you take the spin to win on Earth Eater, which is probably one of the more iconic moves, and it just takes up the whole arena. If you forego the super armor on your Earth Eater, you can actually just take up the whole map like this, and it is just the best. Spin to win is the only future I really know. And it screams W key energy, which is what we're all about here at the end of the day. And then honestly, like my low-key like favorite ability in the game, Gravity Force, you just suck in all the mobs like this. I don't know why, I just think it looks really cool. I use this when I do Chaos Dungeons. I just like it. I think it's cool. That's really it at the end of the day. Do what you think is coolest, because Chaos Dungeons are mindless and boring anyway, so you might as well just have the most fun, or at least pique your brain with cool abilities. And honestly, this whole class is an absolute unit. You're insanely tanky, your damage reductions, your spam shields, it just lets you run over everything, especially people in PvP. And this is my PvP setup, and I made it scream W key energy. It's going to let you climb the ladder and charge straight through everything, because you can bully everyone and control the pace of the game. And running in the background is just some of my favorite clips over the many years of gaming on Destroyer, and they're going to be in the throwback Showtime PvP montage that you can look forward to tomorrow at 4 p.m. EST. And a lot of people say it's a meme class. It's too slow. A Master Destroyer is fast when it needs to be. But this class does play more as a support and a bully, with your insane peeling for your team and the ability just to destroy somebody's gameplay experience altogether and just make them have zero fun. Well, you're having the most fun. You get some crazy baits with Ignore Pain, and you can just pump some crazy damage out with Perfect Swing and Seismic Hammer. The setup feels amazing. The only thing you do have to note is you want to move your cursor to the opposite side of where the person is when you cast your Earth Eater, the spin to win, because it's going to start the initial windup and it's going to provide you that extra like lockdown stagger. You hit them with the ability. If you put your mouse over the person, it's going to cast in the opposite direction. It's easier for them to get away, and they're done. But what's not done is my legendary patrons. Thank you guys so much for keeping this train running. It means the world to me. The setup is just amazing, and I've never played a character that felt this cool and rewarding to dunk on people with. I just feel like I'm on fire now that I have this class back in the game, and I'm going to do my best to main my Berserker and have this big, thick man as my main ult. And now I have a 6-foot inflatable hammer that I just don't know where to put, but he looks cute in bed, so maybe I'll leave him there.